On March 11th, 2019, Path of Exile announced a new stash tab to be added, the Unique tab. This allows you to store and showcase one copy of every unique in-game. When I read that, I knew what I had to do. I've set off to obtain every unique in-game in the solo self-found game mode, filling the Unique stash tab completely. This shit will take a long ass time and won't be easy, but I'm always down for a grind. I'm Mathew Lighty, and this is All for One.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 181 of All for One, the Question You Completion. I'm Mathew Lighty, and this episode will primarily, as is going to be the case, be looking at Ultimatum with a sprinkle of Heist in the mix. Without further ado, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsors. Me and my brother here, Angus the Coil, and Lighty the Bobble are going to cue you in, so here's the sponsor, and then after that, we'll say a quick hello, goodbye, and then we'll get into the episode. Ice-T Aesthetics is a sponsor for All for One and all things Lighty. It has dark aesthetic clothing, anime themes, and a bunch of amazing designs, including currently they're doing a drop for Freyren, Sakamoto Days. So if you like those sort of things, check it out. All proceeds don't go to charity, they go to my fucking pockets, so that's great. Yeah, 10% off all orders, 20% off all orders of 2 or more with the code Lighty10, Lighty20. Free shipping for $100. It's quality clothing at quality prices. I love it. You should love it too. Check out some cool designs. Support it. Support me. And if not, I'll haunt you in your dreams. Back to the episode. Okay, hello, Coil brother. It's you and me. Just a couple of dongles dongling around. Anyway, enjoy the Ultimatum. This next 25 to 30 minutes of Path of Exile content will feature basically zero Path of Exile discussions, because that is what life is now in the land of Ultimatum. Okay, enjoy. So I live in Connecticut. And Connecticut's like mostly old white people. So when I go to the shitty Chinese takeout spot and I ask for something like spicy with like a Szechuan sauce, it's like the LaCroix of flavor is added upon it, because everything's like low salt, low spice, because I'm surrounded by fucking geezers, you know? So like the clientele is just old farts that can't handle anything. So I have to go find like the real Chinese restaurants, you know? There are some really, really good. There's like some of the best I've ever had in the world have been in Connecticut. There's like 2 in the entire fucking state. Let's grab my little roguelockers here. Smugglers. My smugglers. Oh, yeah, when I close my eyes, I see a silhouette of the Trial Master's magnum dong resting on my forehead. It's kind of right down the middle of my face. Like it's just draped like an elephant's trunk, you know? But to be fair, if I'm staring at the Trial Master's dick, that means I have spawned a Trial Master. Oh, is Path freaking out? Oh, I'm getting dead clicks. Is it my mouse? Is there a beard hair? No. It's just Path. Oh yeah, look at those lag spikes. Is it stream? My frames have not dropped. My internet is fine. I do just notice right now I'm still on a Canadian server. Why is that happening? Okay, Path is spiking like absolute crazy. Might be a bad server, but it was the only server last week when DC was down. I don't like these 2-second delayed inputs we're getting. Click, and then everything grays out on the other side. I would be pretty scared if we got Trial Master right now. I don't know if it's true, but I thought that Ruin was always on the left side of the 3 options. Left or middle. I thought it was alphabetic, but and it was like in no permutation could Ruin be on the right. But that might be absolute bullshit. Okay. Something just fell somewhere. I don't know what or why, but I just heard it. Yeah, so if there's 500,000 Americans who have lost limbs, what's the most likely limb to lose? I mean, even if it's just 1/4 of them are hands. But still, more people have definitely lost hands that were born with extra hands. I think that's without question, right? Well, they said limbs, not digits, so it's not going to be a finger. It's going to be whole hands. And then you could also make the sub-argument that if a hand is missing fingers, is it less of a hand? So would you then count that for 9/10 of a hand? Or, 4/5 of a hand, if it's sans finger? Yeah, hands aren't limbs, but if you lost an arm, you've lost a hand. So of the limbs to have lost, specifically saying limbs, right? Are we saying that it's going to be a leg over a hand? You only have 4 limbs. 2 of them are hand-based. At no point in time could you lose an arm and not lose a hand. If you're losing the limb that is hand attached the hand is coming with. It's the lowest point of contact on that limb. So if you're assuming that half of the limbs lost in the US are arms, that means that every arm lost equates to one hand lost. So that's 250 hands lost as a byproduct of this search. Then the next question just becomes, how many people in the US are born with a third hand? And if that number is above 250,000, then we know immediately that that is the above average case versus the under average case. But I've never even heard of a person being born with a third hand specifically. You know, an extra finger maybe. This comes back to the question of, if a hand has 6 fingers versus 5 fingers, is it more hand on average? Surely you wouldn't value a 6-finger hand on par with a 5-finger hand. It's more hand per hand. But also, it's arguably less functional of a hand, because it is technically like a negative, it's like a negative stat attribute, right? It's like a 6-fingered hand probably does function worse than a 5-fingered hand. Especially if it was only one hand. Imagine having one hand with 6 fingers, one with 5. Ultimatum. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, can I get my fishing rod back like this? Oh yeah, I can. I totally forgot about that. Okay. Anyway, well, that's back. All right. I fucking really forgot I could do that. Just because we lost it when I ancient orbed in that video. That fucking fishing rod video. But I remembered I literally was sitting on a trash to treasure omen. So, back we go. Is it marked as an axe? What is even marked as a staff? It's a mace. Okay. That's a plus. That's a +1. That was a -1. Get a Valdos today? Yeah, I didn't get Valdos boxes for so long in Affliction that people in like most of chat kept yelling at me saying that they were not showing properly on my filter. And then after like 2 weeks of the highest level Affliction farming, I got like one to drop in a map. And people were like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "There you go. That's how rare they are." Everyone's saying they're getting one every other hour, and it's like, it may have been really unlucky, but that's just, you know, hate begets hate. Meaning, if I'm hateful, I'll get a hate forge. You know that feeling where like you want something, but you can't pinpoint what it is you want to eat or drink? That's where I'm at right now. One of these days, boom pow. I really love, if you've never had it before, I'll try to describe it, but a Vietnamese iced coffee. Oh man, it's one of my favorite little treats. 8 shots of espresso and an iced coffee mixed with like condensed milk. Just supercharged. As close as like coffee heroin, you know, or some sort of crazy coffee drug is gonna get. So it's a cast 1 stun build. Alright. So you get your stun threshold based on ES, and you have no ES. So you're always stunned, right? You know? And then, you're getting stunned constantly. So, Blood Notch is healing you a fucking ton. And then Immutable Force is making sure you're recovering from your stuns damn near instantly. It doesn't feel like you're being stunned. Non-stop. You grab tons of amounts of Recoup, Elemental Res, Fizz Conversion, Petrified Blood, Defiance for reserve cap. So basically you're constantly being hit, you're constantly being stunned, and nothing can kill you now. So how do you do damage, right? That's the next question. Okay. You do damage by triggering explosions off of enemies and then proliferating it. So you get explosions in a couple places. The biggest one is this 500% from Chieftain. There's an explosion also you could grab there from the Fire Mastery, or Oriath Flask is also good. Yeah, and then it proliferates from your gloves. So it's just a big old fiery explosion that always ignites because you get ignite chance. So you're immortal, and then you pop things, and then they die. You're constantly generating corpses in different ways. You're doing flat damage to kill things in the interim, but Yep, we use RF triggering automatically to, you know, make it so we just kill things constantly. Where's my adorned? Right here. I have a very bad adorned, but yeah. Takes care of all my ailment immunities, my curse immunities, you know. That sort of stuff. And then you just use Hatefield Accuser to give Penance Mark, which spawns little shrimps. And the little shrimps pop, and that gives us 40 million single target, you know, pretty much. Once a shrimp pops, everything dies. Alright, this is Trial Master, what are we on? 104. 104. I'm thinking a Yaumex Accord. That's my guess. Nope, a Valmask. Alright, and it's a rare. Okay. I mean, yeah, it makes perfect sense, actually, if you just do basic math. So, PoE's been out for 12 years, but let's just say 10. We'll just say 10 years. I definitely average 10 hours a day of PoE. If we're just discounting year stuff, right? So we'll just do even 365, then times 10 for 10 years, and that's pretty much spot on. You know? There's definitely been days I've been a little bit less, and definitely days I've been way more. But yeah, that makes sense. So the last 3 weekends, Shelby has taken the dip into Lord of the Rings, and we watched all 3 of the first films extended. She wants to watch it all before she reads it all. Since she reads like a psycho, she'll read all of it within like a month, including like the Silmarillion in probably chronological order in world, like first stage to third age. So we watched all 3 of those films last 3 weekends, and last time we watched The Hobbit extended. I haven't seen those in a very long time. I probably watched Lord of the Rings every year, all 3 of them. I think I didn't tell her about the Vigo breaking his nose, but I did tell her that when we watched The Mummy in Discord, the scene in The Mummy 1 in the beginning, where they hang Brendan Fraser, that he almost actually got hung filming that because of an issue with how the rope was set, and him basically fake dying was him actually real dying, which is why he turned so blurple during it. Oh, so like, what I was talking about like an hour ago at this point, about watching The Hobbit again last night. I forgot so much about The Hobbit, just like the framework of the movie. I remembered I really liked it, and I remember there was a couple parts that were really dumb, just from having read it. Yeah, it was good. There's like, most of the, and I think it's part of their nature, but most of the dwarves, the 13 dwarves, are like insufferable. But I guess that's kind of, they're supposed to be like kind of stubborn. But I think that they portrayed them in the film, and I don't remember this being the case in the book, as being less stubborn and more stupid, which is like unfortunate, because they're not supposed to be dumb. They're supposed to be stubborn and proud. And they were like kind of really dumb often. Like every time Bilbo ever stepped away, they're like, he's abandoned us. It's like, well, why would you think, or like the second, you know, anything would happen, they're like, went to the worst case scenario. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's some of them are supposed to be goofy, because there's like a litigious one, a cooking one, a goofy one. You know, like, they're supposed to be like a variety of personalities represented amongst them. They were just all kind of dumb. Like, they basically had Alzheimer's throughout the fucking film. They kept forgetting everything that was happening. And then, what else? When they were in the goblin mines in the Lonely Mountain, when they were dealing with the Goblin King, they just like gave him like random quips that they just, I don't know why existed. Like he was, you know, at one point he had like them on the bridge, and it was like facing down Gandalf. And he was just like, you can't, whatever, best to me. And then Gandalf like slices his throat. And then he goes, that'll do it. And it's like, that like, why did you even add that line in? You know, that was like some fucking, that's like a Marvel, we have to make everything a joke quip. And I was like, okay, why? That part I remembered, and it was like, this annoyed me. Also, like, the Goblin King that was there, in a dark, dingy cavern, sees one of 13 dwarves look up for half a second, and he says, you're Thorin Oakenshield. And it's like, well, just after what, like half a glance, you knew who this man was you've never seen before? By what? There's no, what are you, no one texted you what he looks like. You know, it was just like, man, that was quick. You've identified him. Obviously, Azog, the one pale orc, was like, sent the word out to look for these people, but like, how would you know he's the one, you know, of the 13? And then the second, like, it wasn't faux hammer, the other elvish sword, like, drops on the ground. He's like, that's insert sword name, and then flees. Like, why would he know that? I mean, it's like, it's a legendary sword, I get it, but there's gotta be so many. Like, he just knew that one. It just seemed a bit strange. Like, that whole sequencing was weird. That, and also, like, watching the movies back, at that point, this is like 60 years before Lord of the Rings, and, like, Saruman is such a dingus the entire time, and I feel like it would have been, like, a huge red flag, because every time anything was brought up about the Necromancer or the Morgul Blade, all that sort of stuff, Saruman's like, no, it's all fine, it's all fine. It's like, he's supposed to be the wisest of all, like, the wizards, right? And for somehow he's just being a real Debbie Downer the entire time. Now, we know that it was because he probably was colluding with Sauron at the time, rising to power, because he saw the outcome, and it was like, this is the route, you know, to whatever. But at the time, it's just like, nobody thought that was a red flag, that, like, Saruman's, like, just being such a shithead this wise sage of a wizard is, like, kind of being stupid constantly. Also, minor technical, you know, I'm going all over the place now. These are pretty not huge complaints, but, like, after the beginning of the film, right, they had all the dwarves are in Bag End because Gandalf invited them there, eating all his food, crashing, and then the next morning he signs the contract, says, I'm not interested in being your burglar. And then he wakes up to everyone being gone, everything being back in place, and they pan over to his pantry that is now magically full again, even though they showed it being empty after the huge feast where they ate all his food. But somehow the pantry has been refilled. I think they may have just shot the scenes out of order or something, but it was like, well, you just ate all his food, but now it's all back. Even the concept of bringing Bilbo is really strange. It was like, hobbits are light underfoot, and also Smaug would have never smelled a hobbit before. But, like, how would you know that? I mean, he's a fire drake. He's been around for some time. He's, like, kind of an adolescent dragon, but still, you're just gambling on him just never smelling hobbit, and even then he's going to smell something that isn't the same smell he smelled for 50 years. He's living in a gold cave where nothing else is changing, and it's like, oh, that's a smell I've never smelled before. Oh, it's not a dwarf? I'll just ignore it. Like, what? Okay. They haven't been around for so long. Yeah, but it's not the fact that he couldn't identify what a hobbit was. It was just that any outlier of a smell, if he's capable of smelling to the precision of identifying races, right, and species, then any amount of smell that wasn't just the smell of where he's been for 50 years would have been a red flag. Yeah, I know, I definitely enjoyed them. There's a lot of parts I liked a lot. I mean, I like the Gollum Bilbo riddle thing is really good. I like that. Just like being in the Hobbit hole memeing is fun, you know, that's good. I like them trying to traverse the mountain pass, and then, like, the mountains are fighting each other. They're just, like, caught in the crossfire. Yeah, my main complaint about the Desolation of Smaug is the dragon felt really fake. I don't know why they didn't use a real dragon, a non-GMO dragon. And Muffin, they should have got a Bosnian dragon. What about the one in Harry Potter? That Hungarian Drake, they could have taken him. Sure, he's still acting. I was going to read a book, but the contrast was too low. I want the words to be the same as the background, you know? I want my letters white and my pages white. Honestly, of all the Muffin takes, this is one of the tamest ones. You guys should have been here when he was trying to tell us how the movie 12 Years a Slave, he thought it would have been better if they used all white actors, then right-clicked in Sony Vegas, invert colors for the slaves. Can you believe that? He said because of the gamma, he didn't want to view actually black people. He said, I need to have white people that have been chromed out. Just because the gamma, though. It's not racist. It's just the gamma. He said they would have preferred if Michael Fassbender was actually Denzel Washington, then they chroma keyed him back, you know? Well, he can't use paint because, you know, for obvious reasons. I'd explain it, but it's obvious. Not quite the right flavor of hue, you know? The hue temperature was too low for him. My chair's stuck in a tile. Yeah, I was born in the gamma, I'll die in the gamma. Like a young Bruce Banner. Yeah, if we could somehow have Kevin Smith, you know, play Django and we chroma key him out. That was Muffin's one complaint about watching Inglourious Bastards. He said to the back half of the hill, you know, as he was watching it, as they're cresting the hill of the film, he said, the good guys keep dying. All these Germans keep perishing. I don't want to watch it. I said, Muffin, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, they were just trying to watch a movie, you know? What's the crime? I didn't see a crime here. Yeah, I remember last time I talked to Muffin about Inglourious Bastards, he said, why didn't the Jews simply not activate their latent camouflage? Because he thinks they're reptile creatures. And as a Jew, I can assure you, we do We do have camouflage built in. It's part of our reptilian race, you know? And he's right. I don't know why. I could have just activated my refractal camo. There is a character in the anime Bungo Stray Dogs. I believe it's F. Scott Fitzgerald. And the show has, like, people have, like, certain abilities. And his ability is he could literally rip money from his bank account to physically empower himself. And then I remember that on Reddit Anime, when that episode aired, and they had, like, the weekly episode discussions, the top comment was just, that Jew is yolked. That was the top comment. That was literally it. Famously not Jewish, but it was like, that Jew is yolked. That is it. That was the top comment. I remember thinking that. That's great. Yeah, also, somebody who was watching it was conflating F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ella Fitzgerald, who's like, these are very different people. But it was, it was also funny. They're like, why isn't she just singing? He's like, well, it's a man and he's a writer. So for those reasons, I'm out. No spells is brutal. Yeah, the Gruthkull thing, people have tried to make it work historically. It's just, unfortunately, the body armor's not good enough. I mean, you would definitely have to, I feel like you'd have to use the Gruthkulls, right? If you're playing that build. A Behemoth. Is there somebody who's playing it? Can you check? Is there PoE DB for this? I hope that whoever's playing that thing, Risha. I thought it said Antichrist. What are they called again? Behemoth? There's a couple mad lads. That's what I'm expecting to see. The double Gruthkulls. It's just like not good enough. It's not. It could be so much better. It could be so much better for the downside if your spells are disabled. Like this thing could have, I don't even know, could have 2,000 life, and it might not even be good enough. Any of your grandparents ever do anything incredibly racist? Does that just come with the territory? All my grandparents are dead, so I never got a chance to witness them be racist. Oh my god, yes. Good. You know what's funny? Death, being from the same place as Galt, says, oh my god, yes, which means his grandparents probably did say something racist, right? Galt saying no comment makes me immediately think they not only said something racist, but they've done things way worse. Because what are you hiding them from? Like, what could you possibly be hiding that they're doing? You know, that's like even more suspicious. It's like 90-year-old white people from the South saying, you know, out-of-pocket racist stuff is not even like off-brand for America. So for you to be like, they didn't do any, you know, no comment, it's like, what were they doing? Was it just like actually crazy shit? Part of some sort of Klan rally? Anybody who's 100 years old, I expect them to have no concept of what life is these days, you know? Can you imagine, like, what we're gonna be like at age, if we even make it to age 100? Like, the type of stuff we're thinking, you know? It's crazy because you try to think like, whatever, 80, 60, 70 years in the future. What could you say as a person, or you think, that's so far out of touch that it's equating to what is now old people being racist? Like, I couldn't imagine being racist, but is there something maybe like I don't like open-toed shoes, and that's like the racism of 80 years from now? Like, I can't believe my grandpa doesn't like flip-flops, you know, or sandals. Oh, it could be, yeah, that's a good one also. It could be about eating real meat versus synthetic meat if we live in a future where it's like only synthetic. Well, that's true. It could be something like, oh yeah, maybe even like if you're not hooked up to like the fucking, like the neuronet, you know? You don't have like a Elon chip in your brain. It's like, oh, you're not even chipped, bro? My grandpa's so old, he's not even fucking chipped, you know? He's not even tagged in. Time to get shrimp. Scrimp. Pop a shrimp. Pop a shrimp. Pop a shrimp. Pop. What the hell, shrimps? All that shrimp yelling really winded me. Time to take a nap. I got any fent? I'm feeling a light to strong Matzawaddle shield. Light to strong Matzawaddle shield. Oh, gold ring. Ugh. I'll make a blanket statement right now.
How do you feel about VTubers? Full stop.
I love giant anime milkers. So if they got those, I'm on board.
Most people do. I come back.
Was that your sister?
Mm-hmm.
Which sister?
The older one.
How old is older? Oh God, Death.
Carry the one. How old am I? 22?
22 years older?
just-
You're not, well,
People help if you.
you're older than 22.
I just killed a rare, and it dropped 2 6-link chest pieces.
Nice.
ES energy shield and ES armor.
What the heck?
Did you say 22 years older than you?
No, 22 years old. Dot.
But you're older than 22.
Yeah.
How is she your older sister?
She's the older of my 2 younger sisters.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Nobody.
Lady,
No
you're
one would know
such
what that
an
meant.
idiot.
I forget.
You're such an
I forget.
idiot.
Well, they're both young. If I just said my younger
Lighty's
sister.
so dumb for having to ask
God.
that.
I said, which sister?
All
My
right.
older sister.
I knew.
Oh, not my older
exactly
one.
what
The
you
one
meant.
older in relation to the sisters I
didn't
currently
know.
own.
I didn't know.
That's
Oh.
fucking
Didn't
crazy.
know.
Okay.
Owen's unhinged.
All right, Death. What's
Oh,
your
God,
guess?
I've made a mistake.
What's your guess?
What'd you do?
Problem Master. What's your guess?
Oh,
You still on
I almost
a
said
ring
gloves,
between
but-
110 and 130?
no, I think it's a shield this time.
Shield sounds good. I like shields.
Why do they want this so bad?
Oh, it's a shield.
It's the right color.
Man, that really fucked me up. The first unique I saw was an Infernal Axe, and I was like, why is Trial Master dropping axes now? What does that have to do with anything? The one password for the throwaway account, for the Gmail account that's hacked, was like, it wasn't exactly like Cumlord420, but it was something really fucking close to like that type of thing. That's why when I looked over and saw it after, because I didn't remember what the password was, so I had it saved from the Path website though. So when I had to make that forum post, so I did like the F12 inspect element to show the password, and it was like Cumlord420. I was like, yep, that's what I made that for that throwaway password. All right, what did you get? This is ISIS. Let's open up the Bob the Builder pack first. Yeah, I mean, I look like a little man. I look like a middle-aged man who's hiring people to build a house for him. Wow, that's an insane card, but that is a registered sex offender if I've ever seen one. 2 mana, instant speed, draw 2, place 2 free on the top of your library. That card's correct. Yep, and there I am, shirtless. Bob's Bold Fix. What was the one before? Was it Friggles? The prompt was Inside Out. That's gotta be horrendous. Oh, there's a little dude! Look at that little guy. Little hamster friend. Me inside of an egg thing, an egg sphere, and then an actual misprint card. Wow, the rare misprint. Alright, Death Dragon 58. You have received Slime Wretch, Lord of the Mire. What was your prompt? Man drenched in white slime. You're trying to get me covered in cum again. That's what this is. You're trying to get me covered in cum again. Every time you gen cards, it's just me covered in cum. Okay, the next card is... you have Flumple Nooks. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. I like Flumple Nooks. I am a special needs large man in this one, though. Okay, 5 mana landfall that makes 2/2 little elemental bears. And then Sluggy Suds. I'm in the cum cave. God, Flumple Nooks is great.